Today, millions of people across the country are celebrating Juneteenth. Thank you so much for joining us for the second half hour of Friends at 5. I'm Darcy Strickland. This day was not always recognized as a holiday. Let's take a look at the history of this day.
Juneteenth become a federal holiday? Let's connect the dots. Juneteenth, a combination of the words June and 19th, commemorates when the last enslaved people in the South were finally set free. It's a holiday rich in history. After the Union defeated the Confederacy in 1965, 4 million slaves were set to become free. But it didn't happen immediately. Union armies began marching through the southern states, freeing thousands of slaves every day. The news took months to reach Texas. On June 19, 1865, Union troops rode into Galveston, Texas, and told slaves of their freedom. Their spontaneous celebration gave birth to Juneteenth. Over 150 years later, private companies made Juneteenth a permanent paid holiday for their employees after protests erupted following the murder of George Floyd. Then in 2021, the U.S. Congress passed legislation to make it a federal holiday, and President Biden signed it into law. And that's connecting the dots.
Just to recap, Juneteenth is the most recent holiday to become a federal holiday. The first state to recognize Juneteenth as a state holiday was Texas in 1980. As you just heard, in 2021, President Joe Biden signed a bill making Juneteenth a federal holiday. Last year, the town of Lexington officially recognized Juneteenth as a national holiday. Juneteenth, however, is not a recognized state holiday in South Carolina. The Columbia Museum of Art commemorated the holiday this afternoon. Admission was free at the museum today, and visitors were given a special tour of an exhibit called Tina Williams Brewer Stories of Grace. Brewer is a West Virginian artist who creates quilts that explore themes relating to African-American spirituality, migration, and shared heritage. She has South Carolina connections and has spent time learning about the area's Gullah culture. Richland County Councilwoman Gretchen Barron talks about the significance of today's event.
I've had to catch myself today, just really fighting back tears of emotion, but it's also a celebration because it is Juneteenth, and so this work does depict some dark times in our history, but the fact that, I'm standing here as an African-American councilwoman says that, freedom reigns, and it's here and it's present, and we're celebrating.
The tour was hosted by Dr. Nancy Tolson, the USC Assistant Director of African American Studies. The exhibit will be on display through September 3rd.